Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Jack of All Casts. My name is Dale.
My name's Cody.
And I'm Tom. Everyone's beloved Jack.
Yes, thank you, Jack.
You're welcome.
Today, we're starting off a little different. As you've noticed, only 3 of us have introduced ourselves.
Only 3. You may be thinking, you're tearing apart the fabric of the show so early in its journey, but there is an explanation. Dale, if you'd like to explain, give a recap of what happened last week.
Yes, so last week at the end of the podcast, we had come to the idea of having a somewhat of a bake-off, if you will, between David and Brandon to see who could make the better baguette.
Indeed.
Yes, so as of right now, we have David and Brandon waiting in the wings with their baguettes to bring into us for us to judge.
Indeed. We'll go one at a time. This is a very serious competition. So without further ado, welcome to the Baguette Bake-Off.
Excellent. Perfect. All
David, you lost the coin toss, but Brandon chose to defer and go second. Are you feeling nervous?
A little bit, Jack. But I really think my baguette is going to shine through, despite the fact that I am going first.
Of course. Well, let's get right into it. If you would reveal your baguette to us, please.
All right. Presenting is a beautiful wicker basket lined with cheesecloth, several bunches of grapes, some plums, as well as the noted baguette.
Of course,
Yes.
the
Yes.
main piece.
Of course.
Let the record show that there are side dishes to this baguette. It comes with grapes. It looks as though there are more fruit items than there are baguette, but that may not impact the judgment. May not.
Personally, I think it is rather respectable that you put a show around the baguette there.
There is an attempt at
I
presentation.
definitely appreciate the presentation, if anything.
Absolutely. Well, I'm gonna take your baguette here.
Yep, absolutely.
What I'm going to do here is just split it and present my judges panel with baguette. I'm going to rip it. That's the sound of David's baguette. I'm taking my first bite. Okay, it's definitely a baguette.
Good.
It's definitely bread. So did you use a recipe you found online, or is this like a home recipe? Is this a family heirloom?
It is a recipe I found online, but I've baked it multiple times before. This is my preferred recipe for baguettes.
Preferred recipe. Have you made this before?
I have.
Okay, so you're a little bit experienced.
I am familiar with the recipe.
I'll take my bite into it now. Now, I must say I'm a little impartial. I came here pretty hungry. However, I'm liking what I'm tasting so far.
It's definitely bread. So you nailed that part.
Good.
Congratulations.
Let me just take my first bite into it now real fast. Yeah, that's bread.
It's bread. It is bread, and it looks like a baguette. So
It does.
You did well there.
It's not fat.
No.
So slender and
It's
long.
slender. It has all the traits. Like if I saw that on a shelf, I'd be like, oh, they have baguettes here, which is great.
That's exactly what we're looking for.
Exactly
It's a
what we
baguette
were.
bake-off.
This is a baguette bake-off. So
Yes.
So far, you're doing well.
Thank God that you did not bring in a cake or a muffin or some other baking good.
That would have disqualified you.
That would
Italian bread.
Now,
Oh,
I have,
no.
I have a question. How long did this take you?
Good question.
That is a good question.
It's a great question. This won't impact the score. Just curious.
I started the process at 8 a.m. this morning.
Unbelievable. Let the record show, listeners, it is now 5:53 p.m.
And they were just taken out of the oven probably about maybe an hour and a half ago.
Wow.
I'm still on the diet.
So we're looking at damn near an 8-hour process.
It's a long process, admittedly. The work really, I think, will show through in the texture, the crumb, the crust.
Of course.
You really have to make sure a lot of that time is eaten up in the rising. You have to let the bread rise 3 times throughout the whole process.
Really, 3 times.
Yes.
Interesting. I wouldn't have guessed
Don't
that.
do 3 times.
I wouldn't have guessed that. Well, David, thank you. We're going to send you out, have Brandon come in. We'll judge his baguette, and we'll go from there.
Excellent. I
Good
hope
luck to
enjoy
you.
it.
Good luck to you. Thank you for the bread.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Brandon's presentation is not the same as David's. It looks like it's a baguette wrapped in a towel.
It does look that way.
There is no accoutrement.
It's a
There is
lot-
no grapes.
It's a lot less elegant.
far less elegant. Far less elegant.
This is how they do it in France, okay? They get a towel.
Sure.
Their baguettes over their shovel.
Sure, I think you're confusing it with like a
Oh, no.
1930s homeless person.
This is how they do it, okay?
Okay, sure. No. All right, well, let's do it. Let's present your.
Y'all
your
ever
baguette.
watch Reddit? Le Ponchon?
I don't know what you
Okay.
just said. I'm not sure what you just said. It's 2 baguettes.
Oh.
Oh my.
They're beautiful. Stop laughing.
Listen, I don't want you to get
These are so artisan, okay?
I understand. I just would like to say first off that it looks like you presented us with 2 extra large witch fingers. They look like bony.
They kind of look from here. They kind of look like just like bigger breadsticks, like
Large
from, like,
breadsticks.
like Olive
I mean, we're
Garden or
meant to be
something.
like a little smaller baguettes. I was trying to save on time because I was not prepared.
Of course, you're right. Okay, well, let's just get right into it.
I will
I'm
say,
going to take these two.
Despite the immediate appearance, I am interested.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
It does have a nice crunch.
It's a decent sound. I'm going into it now with my. Wow. Okay, well, looks can be deceiving, and I think this is a prime example of that. I thought I was going to bite into some sort of disease-ridden witch hand. Instead, I bit into a baguette. Again, very good. We've been
This
very
is-
consistently making baguettes.
This is a baguette.
Let it be known.
Let me go ahead and take my first bite. Yeah, no, it is a baguette.
Brandon has
Once
taken a
again.
bite of his own baguette.
It is bread.
I'm starving.
I shall.
So it's
as
definitely
well.
bread. So, Brandon, we asked David a couple questions. My mouth is full. How long did this take you? About the whole process? How long did you say?
From birth? Or...
Not from birth, preferably just from the start of the bread making process.
Well, realistically, it took about 21 years because I am 21 years old.
Okay.
But really,
Okay.
so, backstory.
Okay.
We've known about this for about a week or so. I kept procrastinating. Up until like yesterday. I was like, I really need to find a recipe.
Okay. So this is a recipe you found.
Yeah.
You stumbled upon. Okay. Good. That answers another question. Great. Continue, please.
And so, I was up until like 4 o'clock in the morning. Trying to decide like the right recipe. Also, like, knowing me, I don't wake up at a good time. So like, I need time to do this.
Of course.
So I kind of decided on a recipe. Couldn't really prepare anything, so woke up at like 11:30.
Okay. Okay.
Started doing
Little late.
stuff.
Sure.
And then I didn't start anything until like 12. And it took around like about 4 hours.
Okay.
Up until like maybe 4.5.
Okay, great. So 4.5 hours of actual bread making.
Yeah.
Bread
Not continuous. There was like
Right,
gaps.
right.
But
Okay. Quick question. How many times did you have the bread rise?
like 6.
6 times.
Six times.
Yeah, so there was
Interesting.
I was supposed
Okay.
to have more, but I was stuck on like time.
Wow. Well, thanks so much, Brandon. We're going to have you go out, join David. We're going to confer as judges. Then we'll bring you both back in and give a ruling. Thank you so much. Good luck.
Enchanté.
Indeed.
Enchanté to you as
Bonjour,
well.
my friend. Bonjour.
Bonjour. Okay.
Okay, so what are our first thoughts?
So first thing, Tom, you should probably go over the what we are judging
Our
the bread
criteria,
on.
yes.
The
So
criteria of the bread.
we have 4 aspects that we are judging. 1 is appearance, 2 is texture, 3 is taste, and the 4th bonus judging criteria is, I don't know if you've noticed, but for each baguette, I broke the baguette in front of the microphone. That sound, the classic baguette crunch, is our 4th judgment criteria. let's get right into it.
Yes.
What are you
So-
guys' first thoughts?
So let's start with appearance. Personally, I think David's baguette just looked better.
Absolutely.
I think that's not even a question.
Yeah, there's
because
no question there.
like Brandon's baguette, like I said, it looked like a witch's hand.
Yeah, to me it just looked like big
It's also kind of
breadsticks.
flat.
It's
It's a
super
little flat.
It's flat. It's smaller. It's a little bit more oblong.
Mm-hmm.
David's had a more consistent appearance, consistent structure.
Plus, he just had a whole
Yeah,
nice.
he had a basket.
A basket.
Yeah, he had a nice
and grapes.
presentation
He had
with
a
it.
ton of presentation.
Brandon
A ton
had
of
just
presentation.
wrapped his in a
He was
towel.
ready.
Right. Good. Yeah. So texture.
Texture.
What do you think? So, here's what I think. I like my baguettes a little crunchier because I typically, you eat them with cheese or something like that. So I think Brandon edged out on the texture. I think Brandon's has a great crunch, whereas David's is a little softer, a little bit more doughy, I would say. So I've got to say that Brandon really edged out on the texture.
Well, I have somewhat of an opposite opinion to a certain degree of that. I do like that nice crunch when you're biting into, but something that was somewhat missing from Brandon's, I feel, was the somewhat more doughy center of the baguette. Because it's always nice to have that crunch on the initial bite, but I also like my
You want some
baguettes
softness at
personally
the core.
with a little bit of softness at the core, yes.
Yeah, I will say I probably agree with Dale on this. I
Softness at the
definitely
core.
appreciate the softness. It's
Okay.
just sometimes it's just easier to eat. You're just trying to get the food, especially if you're adding like butter or something into it.
Oh,
One
of
more
course.
thing I'd like to add to this. Brandon's baguette, I don't know if this will sway you guys as well. Brandon's baguette was a bit warmer, though.
I will say
And
that
I-
I
that
did notice
Far
that.
warmer.
Yeah, and I feel like that does have to have some
It does have
credit
an effect.
Oh, it made a
to
huge
the
difference.
towel.
At least some credit.
I feel like the towel was the reasoning to that because it kept the
Right.
baguette
We
nice and warm.
kind of goofed it, but the towel I think did help.
Yes.
Okay, so texture, it seems David's edging out a little bit more.
A little bit.
Taste, important. Probably the most important criteria.
I think as we just talked about, the warmth probably helped out with this.
Yeah, I gotta say full
I
send
think I gotta
Brandon.
go on Brandon.
Yeah,
on that one.
you know what? I totally agree. When I bit into Brandon's, it was a way better feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Like I bit into it and I was like, oh wow, this is
I will say I did not like David's though.
no,
course.
no,
Full credit to David, but when I bit into Brandon's, I was like, oh, this is warm, and felt like I was eating a baguette.
Right.
Warm,
baked
it's nice.
baguette.
I had the French music playing in the head,
Right.
The whole
Right.
experience was
Absolutely.
there in my mouth.
Absolutely.
Just besides that nice little softy bit in the middle, but
Right.
taste was very good,
So Brandon on the taste.
for sure.
The fourth criteria, the second most important, arguably behind taste, is the crunch. I would say Brandon
Without a doubt.
nailed it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
100%.
Brandon's baguette sound, it sounded like I was in a room filled with French men breaking open baguettes. That's what it felt like. It took me somewhere. It transported me.
It was a very nice crunch. You could probably get it from this piece right
Yeah,
now. It's
yeah.
just,
Unbelievable.
like, listen to that.
Unbelievable.
That's such a loud crunch, and compared to David's, do you have a piece over there of
I
David's
do.
still?
Here's David's.
It's just not-
It's not even
not
a
the same.
contest. Are you kidding me?
No,
not the
not
same.
at all.
Wow. So a tough decision.
I think we might have a winner, though. Welcome back, gentlemen.
Thank you.
We have conferred, and we have decided upon a winner of this bake-off.
We'd like to let you in on just our criteria. We had 4: taste, obviously, texture, appearance, and the fourth and second most important behind taste was the classic baguette crunch sound. Those were the 4 judging criterias. After some back and forth, some discussion, we've decided that the winner of the first annual Baguette Bake Off is Brandon Obas. We
a
loved your
little weak on the
baguettes,
crunch.
both of you. Congratulations. We loved eating them. We'll continue to eat them. But Brandon just edged you out this time.
Yes.
Thank you,
And
David. It was an honor.
It was a noble fight.
And just for the audience to know, as soon as we told Brandon that he was the winner, he did the only logical thing, which is to take off his shirt and start dancing around the studio like a madman.
Correct. He was half naked.
Okay. Well,
So congratulations, Brandon.
Yes.
And audience, this was the Baguette Bake Off.
thank you.
All right, we're back. Had a little bit of a transition there. Congratulations, Brandon. Great job.
Thank you.
David, also great job to you too.
Yeah, thank you. It was a good competition. Good
Oh
fight.
yeah.
Yeah, it was a
fight.
great fight. I love bread. I love baguettes. So that was great. So without further ado, Dale is our guy in the chair today. Dale, give a shout out. Hello. He's there in the back. He'll be playing our sound effects for today. We're going to go into our next segment. A couple weeks ago, we talked about in our brainstorming session a podcast where you find the next big slang term. I think we're all pretty fascinated with slang terms. I think I invented zooted.
Yes.
There's evidence of that. You can look it up. So I think we all are looking forward to finding the next zooted, really.
Yes.
So we're gonna test out this podcast now. We decided on a very catchy name. So without further ado, welcome to Jack's Jargon.
I like it.
Brandon, that's the first time Brandon's been hearing of it, and so did David also.
Yeah, I like it. Jack's Jargon.
Great. I would like to go first.
Go ahead.
Let me let you in on my process here. I spoke with my sister, Kelsey, whom I love very much. She's a great sister. She told me that there's a lot of Gaelic words, Scottish Gaelic words, that she really likes. She likes the language a lot. And I think she's totally right. So she sent me a whole list of these Gaelic words that might be good for slang terms that we can use. But I picked, I think, my favorite one. And that word is blasta.
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 Last night.
Ooh.
Blasta.
2 words or 1 word?
Blasta, one word.
Blasta.
Blasta. It means tasty in Gaelic Scottish. I think it's a great word. I think it rolls off well. Blasta.
Blasta.
So if you're saying something's cool, something's hip, something's fresh, oh yeah, it's blasta.
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 I like it.
Now, would you just say, instead of saying like that was blaster, would you just say blasta, like as in one, like
Yeah.
Yes, and
at one exclamation?
yes and yes. That's
I
the
like
beauty
that.
of it. It's like a multi-tool. So someone says like,
Blasta.
hey, exactly, like we're gonna meet up at 3.
Blasta.
Blasta.
So
Blasta.
universal.
Right. Or you could say, oh, dude, that baguette? Blasta. Blasta.
I like it.
I love it.
Which actually works in Gaelic.
It works great in Gaelic, yeah. They love bread there.
Yeah.
They love bread. So that's my word. I like it.
I like it.
Blasta.
Let's go round robin and see what we got. David.
My word is actually, to go through the process along similar veins to Jack's. The word is hued. Hued.
Hued.
When?
Yes.
What?
It's
I choked. Hued.
it's a Swedish word.
Okay.
Yeah. Wed.
Swedish.
Let's throw it. Let's throw it.
Of course.
Just let it flow. You just gotta hued.
Much like
Hued.
challah bread.
Like to be hued.
Yeah,
Hued.
yeah, it's like to be wet. When you're going to be hued.
It's like how a douchebag says wed. I love it.
So wait, what does it mean?
Yeah. What?
It means spoon.
Of course.
But is that what
Or
it's?
maybe fork. One of those.
Is that what it's being? Is that what it's being applied to?
Some sort of cutlery. I don't.
It's a kitchen term.
Okay. So
Hued.
how would you use it?
Just to sort of brush things off. The way the word sounds. Hued.
Oh, it's like meh.
Yeah.
In replace that.
Kind of in replace with meh.
So like, yeah, it really sucks, but nah, hued.
Hued. Hued.
I like that.
Hued. Hued. Little microphone malfunction. Hued.
I feel like I would definitely sound educated if I used it.
Hued.
Like someone,
Hued.
like, oh, the place is closed. Hued. And then just walk away.
There's so much throat when you say it.
Hued.
Hued. Hued. Okay. Well, yeah. I could see that.
Yeah.
I could see myself saying that.
Mm-hmm.
I could too, but I have trouble actually saying.
Right, Cody, let's hear it.
Wet.
Wow. What?
There was so much. It's like he charged in. He was like, "Wed."
That sounded like what a Pokemon called Wed would say. Like if you threw it, Wed, I choose you. It comes out, and goes Wed.
Definitely a water Pokemon. Definitely looks like a frog.
Yeah, if that's how it sounds every time for you, you should not use this word ever again in your life.
Hued.
Wet.
A little more breath. Hued.
Wed.
Wet.
Better.
Ooh,
Not
that's
quite
rough.
there. Wait.
It's
Just exactly.
Don't do that. I think that's what he tried to do the first time. Oh my god. That was so bad. Wow. All right, well.
I knew I couldn't do it.
So Cody couldn't do it.
All right.
That may impact it. Some people might also have, like, the...
It's like either you can or you can't. Like, you're
Yeah.
one of the cool kids or not.
You're one of
Yeah.
the cool kids, or
You gotta
you're like
practice it.
you're like Cody when you go just make weird guttural noise.
Listen, I'm still on that baguette.
Yeah.
Right, of course.
It got caught in his throat.
The baguette dried out his
Yeah.
mouth.
Yeah.
Of course. Need some juice. Should have brought wine.
Oh, I actually thought about it.
I bet you did. You stuck up prick. Totally kidding. Brandon, what's your word? What's your word?
So,
He's got it written down in case he forgot. Wow, the build-up is insane.
my mind completely left field.
Okay. Sure.
Because I originally, instead of words, I started making sayings
Sure.
for some reason.
That's fine.
And then I was like, that's not what it was. It's supposed to be a word.
Okay.
So in like the last 30 minutes, I came up with a word.
In the last 30 minutes?
Yes.
Like 30 minutes ago?
Yes.
Wow.
Like 45 minutes now.
Wow. Okay.
And it's an already existing word
Okay, that's fine.
that would be used towards something else.
Great. As
The-
most words are.
The word is wet.
The coincidence on that would be insane.
That would be actually wild.
The word is
Spit it out, man. Is it hard to say?
I don't think he has a word.
I don't think he has one. I think he's trying to think of one right now. Talk about unprepared. Brandon, spit it out.
the word is
It better be good.
it's so bad. The word is
Brandon, you've got to get through this.
stop making me laugh.
Do you need some water? Brandon, just say the word.
I'm trying.
Whimpering in the corner.
The word is
How long could it be? Oh, do we have to skip you?
the word is vacuum.
Oh my god, it's so much worse than I thought it was going to be.
That's
What could you
hilarious.
use just vacuum?
That's
for?
hilarious.
What on earth would that...
Obviously, vacuum refers to a vacuum.
Okay.
Obviously, that is what it is.
Suck stuff up, right?
Yeah, sure.
So instead of referring to a vacuum, vacuum refers to Karen adjacent.
So instead of calling someone a Karen,
we're like,
you
oh,
call
that
them a
bitch
vacuum?
vacuum.
Brandon, I gotta be honest with
This
you.
I came up with this 40 minutes ago. Okay.
And listen, it shows. It shows that you put zero effort into this because that makes zero sense. What's that? How's that
It
gonna
makes
catch
total
on?
sense.
How's that gonna catch on?
Because it's like everybody's heard of everybody's heard of a vacuum, right?
Of course.
So like it sucks the fun out of, or it sucks things. Karen sucked the fun out of things.
Okay.
She's being a vacuum. It's not great.
The
But it's-
logic is actually there.
It's not
Sure.
terrible.
Counterpoint. It's not great and it is terrible.
Counterpoint. Everyone can say vacuum.
Touche.
Cody, say "wed" for me.
With
It's so bad. He can't.
Cody,
He
say
really can't.
Cody, say vacuum.
vacuum.
He does that better. He does do that better. Well, okay. Well, I'll let it simmer. Let's move on.
I didn't say I was gonna win.
No,
But
Brandon, that idea vacuumed.
that idea was a total vacuum. And it doesn't even sound cool when I insult you
No,
for
you
using it. So
I feel gross.
I do feel not good about it. Cody, what do we got?
I must say, before I go into this, I was lacking a little bit in the originality this week.
Sure.
Took me some time, so I
Sure.
just had to,
It-
get up a list.
Here's the thing, Cody. Brandon brought vacuum to the table.
It's true. It's really
So,
hard to get any worse than that, honestly.
It's almost impossible, actually.
I've always been a fan of surf language. I love the word tubular.
Tubular. A throwback.
That is a throwback.
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 Just that was totally
back.
tubular, or tubular, bro, or something weird like that.
Tubular.
Just like kind of a
Tubular.
sided exclamation.
Okay. So
Just trying to bring back a slang word.
bring back tubular.
I like that.
Here's I like where your head's at. It sparked something in me. What if we shorten it down to Tubi?
That sounds better than tubular.
Right.
I think so
Tubular's-
too.
Or maybe even like
Tubular's a lot. In
maybe
fact.
even
That
like
was Tubi.
That's Tubi.
That's
about-
Tubi. I actually kind of like
That's
that.
Tubi.
what about tubes?
Tubes.
That was
Tubes is good
tubes.
too.
That's tubes.
What if
That's
we
tubes.
we could just take both and just kind of intermingle
Yeah.
them?
Tubes. Tube.
That was
Tubi,
Tubi. That
tubes.
was tubes.
Just something like that.
Tubes.
Tubi.
You can.
Although
Or that
so,
was tubes.
Now that I'm saying tubes more, I think I feel a little bit like London Tipton, like a very like rich, privileged girl, like tubes, like
get
saying
you.
goodbye to someone. Tubes, like toodles.
Tubes. Yeah, no.
But I do like tubes.
Yeah.
Or Tubi.
Tubi.
I do like it.
I think
What about Yeller?
I don't know what you said. Were you?
Tubular?
Oh, you'll get the second half of the word. Yeller.
No,
Dude, totally yeller.
That was-
Brandon, you have had nothing but stinkers all day. It's a good thing you won the baguette
I put
off.
all my energy into the baguette.
It shows. It really shows. Okay.
I like actually Tubi, tubes.
I like
the
the
tubes.
versatility of it.
I like it. Yeah, I do like it.
Tubi.
Yeah, I
Like,
think they
definitely-
could just be-
that's Tubi.
we can kind of separate
Tubi.
them based on like what the situation is too. Like Tubi could be just like an exclamation, like Tubi,
Tubi.
and then that was tubes,
Tubes.
for
Yeah.
example.
Yeah.
Tubes.
I like it,
Tubi.
I like it.
Or
That's
that was
tubes.
Tubi. I mean, either way.
Tubes works, man. I like it. I do like it. Okay, so let's just recap. We've got tubes, a great one. Tubi, a great one. We've got vacuum, which we will pretend like what never happened, just to save you some face for Brandon.
R.I.P. vacuum.
The one Cody can't say. Cody, what was it?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me clear my throat. Wet.
God, he really can't. David, go
It's
ahead.
either the strongest word he's ever said in his life or the weakest word.
I think if he finally discovers how to perfectly say it,
You just gotta get right in the middle.
he'll be able to shout like in Skyrim. It'll be a force to be reckoned with. Anyway, David, please say
My
correctly.
word was hued.
Hued, which means fork or spoon.
Or something like that.
Okay, so we've got hued, vacuum,
Wet.
tubi,
That was good.
and blasta.
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 I think I like Blasta and Tubi the most, just because they're more like exclamations. Like you can.
They're shorter.
Yeah.
And not as difficult to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like exclamatory.
Yeah.
saying.
So let's decide. Jack of all casts firsts, the Jack's jargon first. Which word will we utilize in our vocabulary and will become the next big word? What do we think?
Should we get an input from the guy in the chair?
Guy in the chair, pick one.
I like Tubi.
Tubi. Guy in the chair says
Tubi.
Tubi. I concur with him.
I can
I think
with him.
Tubi was good.
Tubi.
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 Or not Tubi.
Tubi.
Oh, Tubi or not?
That is the
Tubi?
question. That is the question. All right. Well, I think that settles it.
Yeah.
Tubi it is.
I like Tubi. Tubes.
Listeners,
Tubi. Tubes.
take Tubi and tubes with you. We're not bringing back tubular. We're revamping it, remastering tubular into something a little bit more palatable and a little bit more useful. So take it with you. Start calling things Tubi or tubes. We certainly will. You'll hear it on the show, every show, I'm sure. I'll say it for the rest of my life until I die.
Every other word.
I love it.
And also, if you ever want to think of something to describe someone who sucks the fun out of things, don't use vacuum. That's my final word.
Or use it and be laughed at.
Yeah, or be laughed at. You would be
could
laughed
use
at. You would be laughed at.
The irony of vacuum being used over Tubi or tubes.
Oh my god.
Better
If you
yet,
have a choice between using vacuum or Tubi, please God choose Tubi. Unbelievable.
better yet, go to a Karen, call her a vacuum, and see how she reacts.
It probably won't be a very tubular reaction. Won't be tubes at all.
That would not be Tubi.
Not Tubi.
It'd be very not Blasta.
Not Blasta.
Not
Should have said it was Vac.
Vac. Vac still sounds shitty. Sorry.
Less shitty than Vac.
I think Brandon, there's nothing that can save what you just presented to me.
I said I put all the thing into the bag.
I get it, the baguette. Okay, whatever. Well, that was great. Listeners, tune in next time on the next episode of Jack's Jargon, where we find the next big word. See you later.
Bye.
And we're out.
I like
Great.
that bit.
That was a Tubi bit.
That was super Tubi.
Really tubes. I'm into it.
No straight tubes.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot. I would love to come up with more words in the
Yeah.
future. I like that a lot. So, today, before we go into our brainstorming session, I mentioned before the show to everybody that we got some fan mail.
Ooh.
We got some fan mail.
From who?
We got 2 emails
Surely not fans.
from friends, fans, listeners,
Friends,
whatever you want to call them.
Family.
Homeless.
No family, actually.
Homeless people.
Wow.
Strictly people that are not family. So we'd like to talk about that. Listeners, we love getting emails. We love getting input. Please send it to us. We're huge fans of our fans. So please send it to us. So
Or are we vacuums of our fans?
Do you need to leave? Do you need to leave? All right, thank you.
That was not Tubi.
So far from tubes, dude. Unbelievable. Okay, so a first email comes in from Dima Levko.
Dima
Levko.
A good friend of ours. Went to high school with him. A great guy.
What's up, Dima?
Dima, what's up, man? I hope you're listening to this episode. I was able to respond to this one. Dima threw in some nice, constructive advice. Not advice, or just some input.
Yeah.
Here's what his email said. Yo, it's Dmitry Levko from high school. I love the podcast. I remember everyone from high school, and I think you have a great crew going there. I like the traditions portion. I think the traditions portion was awesome. Definitely needs some more randomness and comedy. More randomness, more comedy. Loved culture shock. Okay, I see. Maybe presenting and speaking less monotone. Not going to point fingers. Brandon.
True. I was nervous.
I understand. He's just a little nervous, Dima. It's okay. We love Brandon, except when he does stuff like vacuum. He says life stories would be a super cool segment.
I'm interested.
Oh.
Life stories. Dima, I think it's a great idea. Give it a little slice of life and all the cast members. If you don't mind, Brandon and I have a little slice of life story to share on the show live right now.
Excellent.
We went on a hike on Sunday. It was supposed to be a 2-mile hike. This will be a quick story. Supposed to be a 2-mile hike. Nice, easy, get up to a lookout and see like 8,000 feet up. Great views.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Awesome hike. So we drive to about 2.5 hours to where we think, or where Brandon tells me that the trail is, right? So we're driving up, we get to this road, and he says, so you're going to turn on this road, it's going to turn into a dirt road, follow that for about a mile, or half mile, and then we'll get to the trailhead. I
Sure.
said, perfect.
I did tell him this.
Brandon, this is what you told me?
Yes.
Right, so get to the trailhead. So we drive up this road, it turns into the dirt road, right? First it's like, okay, yeah, we're on a dirt road. I'm in my Ford Focus, not exactly an all-terrain vehicle. We're driving the road. A mile goes by, we don't see any parking lot or anything. And the road starts getting a lot less dirt and a lot more rock. And it starts to feel like maybe we're on the hiking trail.
Mind you, we're on the side of a mountain.
We're on the side of a mountain.
So no U-turn.
No,
No,
U-turn
absolutely
is
not a
possible.
U-turn.
This is a one-lane road.
Oh,
a
yeah.
one-way. Which makes me think, I think, Brandon, this might be the trail. Like, we're just driving along this trail. But we didn't see anybody. Like,
Yeah.
we saw no one. So I was like, this can't be right. Like, we would have seen people hiking. So we stop after some very serious terrain we run into. My transmission is overheating. It's going
my
bad.
There
My
was
Ford Focus is
humongous rocks.
huge rock scraping the bottom of my car. I literally thought we were gonna get stranded on this mountain. Seriously. So get out of the car, we walk a little bit, and we're like, we gotta turn back. So we find a little place where we can kind of like 8-point turn and go backwards. We get out of the car, and we're like, okay, we'll just hike this part. We hike it a little bit, and dirt bikes start driving past us. And I go, Brandon, I don't think this is right. I think we're in the wrong spot. Because dirt bikes shouldn't be driving. I think this is just a dirt bike trail. So we turn back in the car, go to the visitor center of the town we're in. We talk to the lady, and we're like, we're looking for this trail. And she goes, oh yeah, so you're going to drive about 6 miles up the road. And immediately I looked to Brandon, and I was like, 6 miles up the road, Brandon? We're not even near the trail. We're not even near it. So finally we drive up to the place, we get on what we think is the trail, hike up it, finally get to the top of that trail, and we're like, oh, why aren't we here yet? And then we look, and there's probably another 2 full miles to go up this trail. We have already walked like 2.5 probably. So then we hike up the mountain, we finally get there, Brandon's exhausted, dying, I'm tired, my butt is sore, and we realize that we took the scenic route up the trail.
Nice.
So then we go back down the trail. We're like, let's just go down the normal trail. We go down the normal trail, but it leads us 2 miles away from where our car is parked. So we have to hike down the road 2 miles.
Oh my gosh.
2 miles. So what should have been a 2-hour drive into a 2-mile nice hike, see the views, turned into like probably 4 hours of driving around trying to find out where we're going, and then another 4 hours of walking and hiking up a mountain.
Very true.
And it was a nightmare.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I thought I was gonna die many
yeah.
times.
I thought Brandon might have died, honestly.
We also saw a rattlesnake.
saw a rattlesnake.
on the prior trail.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That sounds like a lot.
It was a lot. Anyway, so
I was sweating so much, like my hat was drenched.
Oh my
and then there got to a point where there was no more sweat whatsoever.
yeah, it was a lot. It was bad. So there's our life story for this week. Dima, shout out to you. Please send us more.
Shout out Dima.
Next one is from my friend Brett, good friend Brett. He says,
Hey, Brett.
this is an idea napkin, I believe. He says, Scorpion in the middle of the table podcast.
I don't like that. Not at all.
like
I
it.
must say, he picked the one thing I'm afraid of in this world.
Cody is petrified of Scorpion.
Really?
Yeah, that's my one fear.
His one fear. It's the only thing he's afraid of.
Oh my god.
Second idea he has, cuss each other out the whole time podcast.
Wow.
We just scream.
A little bit of a violent.
little violent.
Totally doable that.
Get the argument out.
I don't know if I could do a full podcast, but I could definitely see us doing like 5 minutes of just like going ham
at
on
it.
Just screaming at each other.
Maybe
Brett,
warn,
you should see our pre-show.
warn our listeners.
Yeah, Brett, our pre-show is a lot like that, actually. We just scream at each other. It's pretty violent.
Maybe warn everyone.
Not
before
gonna
it
lie,
happens.
I kind of like
Listen
the
to the next
idea of
5
like
minutes.
a scorpion in the middle of the table.
Yeah,
That'd be funny.
Like what? Just in a live scorpion? Is
Like
just
in like a
sitting there?
cage or like.
I don't think he's going to be in a cage.
I
I
think
think
a
the
cage
idea
at
is it's
all.
I
out
think-
on the table.
We have a table with our mic set up, everything, and there's a scorpion there.
And then the scorpion walks towards
Around.
you.
Yeah.
And then it's like,
What do? I have to keep doing a podcast.
you
The
have to
show
keep
must
going.
go on.
The show must go on. And you have a scorpion crawling up your microphone.
I mean, realistically, we're the alphas. We can kill that scorpion whenever we want.
We, theoretically, maybe, sure.
So
Unless it stings one of us and takes one of us down with it.
And the scorpion.
that's why we get we get the big one, so it just hurts.
Oh, yeah, the big ones that just hurt.
Nah, you just get the
I'm
small
not a fan of
The
the idea.
tiny ones that just murder you in 35 seconds.
I'm not a fan of any of these ideas.
Right, Cody probably is hating it, hating every minute of it.
think
So
that's
Brett,
hilarious.
we'll think about it. We'll think about it. Thanks for the idea napkin. He says, that's all I got, I guess. P.S. Thanks for shouting me out on the pod. We did shout him out on the pod the other day,
Oh.
last episode,
Yeah,
or
think
2
about it.
episodes ago. I had his invitation.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
The third piece of fan input comes directly to me. It wasn't an email. It was from Anthony Maddle.
oh,
good friend.
Battle.
Great friend of us, listener of the show. His idea napkin idea was the drink lab. Drink lab. What do we think about that?
Where we just concoct drinks.
Yeah,
That could be
exactly
cool.
what it means.
That's exactly what it means. That's
So,
exactly what
are we talking alcoholic beverages, or we're trying to throw together a
I
nice
think we
All
could
manner.
probably do anything.
Is
all
our
manner.
is our goal to make it taste good?
Of course.
Probably.
Obviously. We don't want to make just... I could make something that tastes gross. Like right now. I could just put your baguette in a water jar and then put some milk in it. That would be gross.
I don't know. Sounds kind of nice.
Yeah, thank you. Gross.
Um,
Easy. It's about flavor.
It wouldn't be very tubey.
collab on something, and then we just come up with like the next drink.
The next drink.
That'd be cool.
I love this idea.
Yeah,
I would
what if
love
we-
to come up with a flavorful drink.
We could even. Yeah, I like the ideas, but what if we just all came in with our own mixed drink, and then we all
Yeah.
just had to taste test it, much like the baguette off.
It's just a baguette off, but like a drink off.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
A drink off. Could be alcoholic, could be non-alcoholic.
Just whatever you mix together.
Whatever you mix together, whatever's good. Could
like
be a
that.
suicide at the pumps. You know, soda. Every soda.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Could be something like that.
Suicide at the pumps.
Suicide at the pumps. It sounds more tragic than it really is.
Yeah, I was
does.
like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, it's an old slang term. I don't know if anyone even uses it anymore. Do people call it that anymore?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I-
I always
I've-
called it that when I was a kid.
I've heard someone refer to it as breakfast.
What? No way.
Yeah, it was
Who?
like it was like a show. Someone's like, oh yeah, this is
breakfast.
This is what I call breakfast.
That's insane. Now I see where you got vacuum from. You just listen to people say weird stuff all the time.
I'm cultured.
Wow. Anyway, well, there's our fan mail. That leaves us just a little bit of time to do some brainstorming, but that was great brainstorming from the fans.
Yeah, I like those ideas.
Great ideas.
Keep sending those in. Love to hear them. Love to hear from you.
Keep sending them in. We love hearing it. We really love hearing it. We're going to switch idea napkins now, do a quick round of brainstorming. The guy in the chair has scrambled our idea napkins. Would anyone like to go first? I'll go first. My idea napkin today is the back of a Capri Sun. The flavor is strawberry kiwi. Great flavor, Cody. This is Cody's napkin. So my favorite one on here is Monkey Wrench Plan. I don't really
Monkey
know.
Wrench Plan?
Monkey Wrench Plan.
Maybe just. I'll go. Do you have an idea?
I have no idea.
It's where we each have a monkey. Well, there's one monkey wrench, but we can only talk when you pass the monkey wrench off to someone else.
Like a totem.
Maybe.
Like the conch shell.
Yeah.
Maybe one of us has to plan out a heist. But while we're talking during the podcast, one of us is wailing on each other with a monkey wrench.
That sounds like murder.
So we give guy in the chair a monkey wrench.
Yes.
And he just beats the crap out of us as we do the podcast.
Oh
Show must go on.
Oh my goodness.
The show must go
That's
on.
ridiculous. I will say, I thought Brandon was going in the right direction until he started talking about us getting beat.
Okay.
Have you ever heard the phrase, they threw a monkey wrench in our plan?
Of course.
That's where my head was at. Like, we plan something, but there's someone who just is there to sabotage.
Interesting.
Like, almost like the heist plan, but someone is there just intentionally. We don't know who it is, but they're to intentionally mess it up.
And we've got to root him out.
That'd
Yeah.
be cool. That can be applied to a lot of different things.
I do like that, like a little chameleon game.
That can be even like applied to like our drink game if we do.
Yeah.
Like someone's like one person has like the bad guy role or whatever, and they're trying to make the drink bad. type of
Yeah,
thing.
could be. Could be.
I think that could be interesting.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Like,
It's a good idea. David, go ahead.
I think this says nom game, but it could be name game. But it might be nom game. Brandon?
It's name game.
It's name game.
Name game.
Name game.
That's what it says.
It says name game.
So I think I might have a little insight on this.
Yeah?
On the way back from our hiking journey, Brandon and I played a little game on the road where Brandon said, describe a Chad, go. And then I had to describe someone named Chad. And if my description fit the Chad mantle, I passed.
Yeah.
So we just fielded different names, like Cody, describe a David. And then Cody would describe, I guess, a little like stereotypical things that a David would do.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I like that. I think that could be fun.
To like paint a picture of a David.
And
Yeah.
like the names got like a little bit more like specific, which made it like really fun.
Yeah.
Like Eustace.
Yeah. One of them was Tristan.
Tristan.
Oh my goodness.
Describe a Eustace for me,
a
David.
stuck-up British prick.
Oh, man.
So David with a British accent?
Yes, indeed, Tom.
That was British.
It was a fun game. I think
Yeah, it
we
was
could
fun.
try it out.
I think that would be a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Brandon, what do we got?
So whose is this?
That's mine.
I love almost all the ideas on here,
Okay, great.
Nice.
Thank you. Thank you.
except for like one.
Oh, great. That's 33% of the ideas on there.
There's four.
Oh.
25%.
I don't even know.
Even better.
But the one that I gravitated to first is special guest the clown from my fifth birthday.
Special guest, the clown for my 5th birthday?
That is just so oddly specific.
Who the heck was the clown for
That.
your 5th birthday?
His name was Bongo.
Oh, no.
Yeah, again, that's just so oddly specific that I even...
I just imagine like, first of all, we're 21, 22.
Correct.
That was what 17 years ago.
quite a while
So
ago.
Bongo the clown is easily like 50.
He could be dead.
pushing 60.
He could be dead. He could be in jail.
Oh, no.
And he just come here like, I heard there were baguettes.
So my idea, what sparked this generally was we bring on a professional from a more obscure field. And then they describe their day-to-day and we try to guess what their job is.
That'd be interesting.
It's like a mall Santa kind of.
Like a mall Santa. He comes in, he says, well, I get in a big crowd of people, I sit in this chair, and then a bunch of kids come up and they tell me their dreams. And I tell them I'll make their dreams come true. And then off that we would say,
it could
are
be
you
a-
a mall Santa?
Yeah, it could be like a really difficult one, too. Like, yeah, I think that's a great idea.
This would even be
That's
cool
interesting.
if people sent in like their idea, like what they do for a
What they
job.
do. Yeah, and we like...
so
what
then
they
they're
do,
like,
And we describe it?
yeah,
yeah,
and we're like,
yeah.
or not even us describe it, like we're trying to figure out what it is, and then either they send in a second email or whatever,
Yes.
or like what their job is.
Yeah, listeners, if you have a weird job or a cool job or even a job that you could cryptically describe, send it in.
Yeah.
So we can maybe make that happen.
I think that's a fantastic idea.
Okay.
I think so too. I really
I love
like
the
it.
listener input. That would
Right,
be super
yeah,
cool.
I I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Wow. Playing with fire. We're playing with fire today. Cody,
I
last
have
but not least.
David's notebook. Since we were talking about him being pretentious earlier, I think it's very comical that one of the things he has on here is pretentious water.
Of course. Of course. Pretentious water. Why wouldn't David think of that?
Now,
That's a very David.
the only thing I imagine is David has a wine cup in his hand, the classic look, and he's just drinking water out of a wine glass.
For the whole podcast. Yeah. We don't address it. We don't address it. We just know that David's
Every
drinking
like 10
water
minutes,
from
you
a
hear like
superior
you hear a
glass.
slurp. Like
He's drinking from an item that costs more than the actual beverage.
Yep.
And that's the height of pretentiousness, I think. So what I think it is we sample expensive waters.
I can see that, or maybe like
Try like a Voss
I think
or a
that's the
Fiji.
realistic way to do it.
And then see which one's better, if
Or-
they're truly better at all.
or maybe see how pretentious we can get to describe water.
Whoever
like-
can describe water the most
This one has a
pretentious.
slight sweet taste to it, slightly minerally.
I do say I like the way Tom was saying. There's a lot of different kinds of water.
True.
A ton of water out there. There's a
Yeah.
ton of water out there.
Yeah.
Side
Too
note:
much water out there.
There's frankly too much.
there's some evil water companies.
Yeah, absolutely. Nestle, shout out to you. Just stealing water from
Essentia.
Essentia. That I've heard the rumors.
Essentia. Go into any restaurant and you can see an Essentia bottle.
Crazy.
They've taken over.
They've taken over silently, slowly. Wow. Well, we could look into it. We could look into the pretentious waters, or we have David.
Yeah. So the idea is what Tom was saying, where we just sample, those expensive
I like
bottles
that.
that you see in stores.
Just take really expensive water and then put it in our mix lab. Our drink lab.
It instantly boosts the credibility of the drink.
Yeah.
This has a cup of essential water. It's like, could you use tap or? No. It's Essentia.
Yeah.
Essentia is essential. Sorry, beat you to it. Great. Those are great ideas.
Yeah, I like them.
I think we could definitely figure out something for next week. Again, I'd like to reiterate, listeners, send us in stuff. We love it. Also, follow us on Instagram
Nice.
at Jack of All Casts on Instagram. We will be posting semi-frequently, which basically means posting whenever I find something to post, which is difficult because I'm not a big social media guy. I've been trying to get better at it just because it's kind of like what I'm studying.
The first picture will
do my
be
best.
the clown from Tom's 5th birthday.
It'll be Bongo.
Bongo.
Bongo. Shout out
I
to
definitely
Bongo.
think we should at least post something every time we upload a
Well,
video.
certainly.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we'll be posting. So follow us and share with your friends, please. We'd love to get our listeners out. Shout out to our German listeners. We know they're out there. Whoever you are, thank you so much for listening. That's super cool.
Shout out to
Shout out to the
Germans.
Australian listener. Shout out to Shogun Dale.
Shogun Dale.
Big fan of Shogun Dale. He's our good friend. Listeners, thank you. Gentlemen, we did great.
Yep.
Any last words? Any last words?
No?
No.
All right. Well, that concludes our episode. See you next Friday.
Tubes.
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 Baby.